Super break to enemies that are not weakness broken? Yeah. Toughness reduction by enemy targets when not weakness broken can also be converted into super break. Toughness reduction when the damage will be converted in 1 instance of 175! And she regens energy?
Memory's tomb has opened its maw. It all dies. So beautiful!
That is an animation. Okay, sure. Well, hello, friends and strangers. Welcome back to Break Only and the wonderful Sky Splitter. But most importantly, we got a very important character to get. So let's not even waste time, let's just get into it. And oh my god, it's on the first try. Wow, that's... Yeah, I wanted to actually make a joke about it, but it's like, we have 70 pity, so this is not really a surprise. Yay! I can't do fake enthusiasm. I legitimately can't. But just as important as the character probably also will be the new light cone. Ooh, an actual break light cone. Finally! Only took who knows how long. And I'll take it. You know, also, I'll take any passkey that I can get. That... not that useful. That's the wrong Dahlia light cone. I don't think that's usable at all. Damage, effect hit rate, attack. Yeah, no. We don't give a damn. You know what? That works. That works completely. Sure. You know, this is why I say press the button with passion and believe in the system, because this is how it works. This is the system at work. You know? Just because you lose doesn't mean you lose. It will work. We also, just as a little extra, have 40 standard pulls, so let's just get those out of the way. And see, maybe, potentially, we could get something. Yes! That is a break effect light cone. And I think it also gives crit rate, which I'm not sure if I will allow it, but I for goddamn need light cones that are actually functional. Right? Yeah, crit rate on ultimate, but screw it, it's a break effect light cone. That's so much more important than anything else. What I mean mostly is it's more important to have stuff that is functional in general. It's yes! What are these? Okay, yeah, I'll take it. I'll absolutely take it. Thank you, game. Thank you for being nice to me for once. I think that is to make up for the last time. Now, if only we would get, no. I wanted to say, DDD or something, but I should not put the bar too high, right? The game has been nice. Let's just take it as what it is. Ooh! Actually, no, the standard banner of light cones are not really the greatest, and the characters are also not that important. We already have Himiko, what else do I want? You're unusable. You are not! You are potentially something. With the pulls out of the way, I want to take this moment to quickly address the elephant in the room. Or rather, the Firefly. I will not be pulling Firefly on this account for 3 more or less good reasons. The first is just I don't really like her gameplay. The second is, what does she even do for us? Yes, she is a better DPS, but we don't really need a DPS. Especially now that we have the Dahlia, anyone can be usable because we have a weakness implant. What we really need is support, and the next banner will feature a Fugue rerun, which I think will be an overall more important character to make this account functional. And for the third reason, I somewhat believe that the Dahlia and Firefly will have a similar thing happen to them than Sunday and Jing Yuan. Like, yes, the new character makes an old character viable again, but that's not what they're really for. There will be an actually dedicated character that shall be used meta-wise with the Dahlia, and I will be waiting for that. But now that everything is done, it is time to actually put our new character to use. And of course, we already got to pre-farm, so everything is fine. We can use her, right? There's never any problem with farming, right? It's not like any kind of weird, wacky new enemy suddenly appears that we have to fight that will absolutely be a problem for this account, right? Right? Story time. Last time I got March from the finest duel under the pristine blue questline, and she's very useful for this account, but that also of course meant we had to farm her stuff, and that's nothing too special, except that also meant we had to fight the Doomsday Beast. Now, that is the tutorial boss, like, what gives? Have you ever considered the fact, because I didn't, and it only became obvious in this moment, that once you break all the parts, or rather destroy all of the parts, and the thing falls down, you can now attack its real health bar. It does not have a toughness bar. Now, this doesn't matter for this boss because it never gets up, so you can eventually kill it. And even the endgame version, who can get up and regenerate all of its parts, actually takes full damage from attacking the parts, so it doesn't matter. But just for a moment, a tiny, tiny moment, a short moment, I thought about it. Wouldn't it be funny if Hoyo ever makes a boss that doesn't have a toughness bar? I mean, that would be real funny. But after I delayed the initial video, I then decided to not put that in as a joke, because it kind of didn't feel like I did a good foreshadowing joke or something. It felt more like I was doom posting something that wouldn't happen anyway. Right? Well, and after I actually posted the video, the next day I played through version 3.7 story, and well, spoilers for the Irontomb boss, because we gotta talk about Irontomb, or rather, his two gyrating balls that do, in fact, not have a toughness bar. So, there are multiple reasons that all compile together as to why this boss is a problem, for this account specifically. Reason number 1. This wonderful number here is Amphorian Hatred. This is a loose condition. If it ever reaches 100%, it's over. It also reduces your maximum restorable HP and skill points, so bad things all around. So of course we have to understand, how can we potentially prevent that? How does this number rise? What actually is going on with it? Very simple. Every time the boss attacks, or the balls attack, the number rises. Depending on which attack they use, it's more or less. It also has something to do with how many characters actually are in the fight. But overall, if they attack, number goes up. The number will go down again by exactly 30% if you use the rate mechanic that is associated with this fight. That just means that there is a mechanic in the fight that makes you not lose, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem, right? Except, here is where the problems begin. First and foremost, what do the attacks of the enemy actually do? Well, the first few normal attacks are not a problem at all. What is a problem are the markings. Every time one of the balls marks one of your characters, it prompts Irontomb in its next turn to do a more powerful attack, which, well, depending on which ball it was, has some severe side effects. If you get marked by the Quantum Ball, or in Phase 2 and onward, the Quantum Ball just says, hey, this is happening, then the next attack that Irontomb does is a big attack that reduces your energy by like 50% of max energy. That is a lot. On the other hand, the imaginary ball inflicts you with action lock. What the hell is that? Well, it does exactly what it says. It locks your action. You don't get your turn, you just get skipped. You cannot use your ultimate, and no follow-ups and whatever trigger. You are legitimately just locked out of acting. That sounds a bit too much, but there are two very simple ways to get rid of it. Number one, the wonderful raid mechanic gives you a little bit of an extra that from time to time you get to free one of your characters from the state and also activate their ultimate. The other option is to give that character action advancement or energy. Well, the action advancement part is gonna be a bit of a problem because we can't really do that with characters. All characters that really do that are either do it to themselves, which if they're action locked that doesn't work, or they're crit supports, which are banned on this account. Energy, however, works, like we could use Ting Yun or something. You also get action advancement if you destroy the imaginary ball, or energy if you destroy the quantum ball. Which is wonderful. These are things that we probably will have some problems with, so we can't really do that. I mean, we can point the raid mechanic at it to do some actual damage, but that only really works for phase 1, where the balls don't respawn. Once we reach phase 2, they do. Killing them just negates their next turn, and after that they're back and in full effect. But wait, there's an even bigger problem. As the raid mechanic allows you to both destroy the balls, do some extra damage to the boss itself, and reduce Amphorian hatred, it doesn't work like all the other raid mechanics. It doesn't just activate because you did stuff, no. You have to specifically use 4 ultimates. And that is a little bit of an issue when the enemy has multiple attacks, especially in phase 2 and AoE, that just reduces the energy of everyone. This is a problem. This slows down the way you can get your ultimates, gets the enemy now more attacks, which again raise Amphorian hatred, so the fight might end sooner, and you also have to keep in consideration that you kind of have to kill this thing at some point, which is a problem if we don't efficiently break it that often. And also, the thing has such high speed that it kind of just gets up from being weakness broken incredibly fast, so what the hell is the strategy here? And I have to say, the first few attempts were absolutely unsuccessful. And only after struggling a good RNG and some saving the raid mechanics for the next phase, we actually managed to beat this. Somewhat. But that was a struggle. But you might now say oh, so there's no problem here, you did it. Maybe some better builds, maybe a new character at some point and whatnot, and everything will work out. Except, I thought about this boss in the story sense. You know, I managed to do this, great, wonderful, but I managed to do this with my actual team. In the story, we have to use a great, wonderful pink thing. And as much as I like this character in terms of its story, I can't get over the fact that she is a support. And she has crit buffs, even though I'm not sure if this is directly something that should count, but I am counting it. And so, Cyrene is not allowed on this account, meaning she is reduced to just basic attacks. Or more importantly saying it, she can never ult. Obvious pun and joke here, yeah, you never ult with her anyway, the ult takes who knows how long. It will work in this fight, because the fight takes 15 minutes or something with this account, but if I have to do this with 3 characters, one of them literally being not able to do anything, how are we going to do this if I'm struggling with 4? What's the goal here? How are we gonna do this? And after some testing, I came up with a very interesting idea. Well, if I mostly lose to Amphorian hatred rising, I just have to stop that from happening. If I can't kill the balls, or the boss quick enough, then how I just prevent them from acting otherwise? And the moment I saw that the boss has control effect resistance, I was reminded of episode 1 of Break Only. Remember, we froze Japard with the base ult of March? what is that, a 20% chance or something, and he has control effect resistance, so there is a chance, right? So after giving Misha a body piece with effect hit rate, giving him his traces that give him like 140% extra effect hit rate on his ultimate, we go up to about a little bit over 200% effect hit rate on his freeze. And if this doesn't work, then... Wait, why doesn't it work? No, like, legitimately, why does this... How does this not freeze? Is the chance just that ridiculously low? But no, this doesn't work. I actually thought I had something here, but... No. No, I do not. And after actually trying to figure out how this actually works, I came across a wonderful little formula that gives us how enemy effect resistance and also your character's effect resistance actually works. The most important part is this bottom one, because that is where the effect resistance that enemies like Irontomb have actually comes into play. The problem is every enemy has its own individual value, so we need to know what is the value that Irontomb has. Well, Irontomb has 100%, which means we put a 1 in here. 1 minus 1 is 0. We're multiplying everything with 0. The chance is nothing. Nada. Niet. Nicht existent. So, if that doesn't work, then, like, seriously, what else am I supposed to do? But after some testing with other enemies, I came across an effect that does somewhat the same as freezing an enemy, but isn't a freeze. May I introduce you to Thanatoplum Rebloom, the Ruan Mayflower. That just sounds fun to say the actual name. But yeah, this thing actually kind of works. I mean, this is not a control effect for reasons, but it kind of does the same. It makes them skip a turn. And also the combination of our Dear March and Ruan May together do actually do a lot of toughness reduction. We can quickly decimate Irontomb and prevent him from doing things. And if he doesn't really do things, then that means Euphorian Hatred doesn't rise, which is the thing I've been losing to for the last week. So, this works. This actually even feels like a cheat code. Like, hell, I even got the achievement that you get for not having Euphorian Hatred ever rise above 66% this way. This is legitimately easy. But that wouldn't be the fun part, right? I mean, just finding a solution would be great and all, but... maybe my approach was a bit of a wrong one, because I just put a character in that would be dying. Because I didn't want them to really have an impact on the fight, but that is not how it will work in the story, which is the thing I'm trying to solve. In the story, we will have a leveled up version of Cyrene. So she's probably not gonna die, and that means we may have to do this with 4 characters. But then I even thought about the fact that, well, there's even more. It's not just about that, oh, different numbers of characters makes different target priorities, and if you get attacked, you regen energy, and depending on how much of the single target attacks of the enemies actually hit you, la 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 la. That's one part of it, but the other part of it is Cyrene doesn't have energy. So I don't even really know how much she would interact, or in what way she would interact, even if I just restrain her to basic attacks with the fight, so... I jumped onto my main account where I do have a Cyrene. I used my terribly built March with a crit build because it doesn't matter. What we're here for is toughness reduction. We want to see how this works, and this does not. We barely get to phase 2. Like, how? What is happening? How does a strategy that completely trivializes a fight suddenly become non-functional? What happened here? And again, I already assumed that this would be worse somehow, but this is a bit more than just worse. This is like, not even the difference between day and night. This is like night on freaking Neptune, the planet, as opposed to night on this world. Like, what is going on? So, of course, I had to test it with a character that will be dying on my main account to see what really the impact is, to figure out what we can do, and this also doesn't work. But it worked on the break account. The damage doesn't matter. It's the same fight. Yes, it's a higher difficulty. But that just means that its stats increase, it has more health. Who cares? Oh no. And then it hit me. Its stats increase, including its toughness. The version I fought on break only was difficulty 4 with 150 toughness. The version I fought on my main account was difficulty 6, which has 200 toughness. So is the solution that I do not level up my account at all? To prevent the boss from having even higher toughness in story mode and therefore making the fight for this account impossible. And that would be a bit of a shame, because I actually did want to increase equilibrium level further so that we could actually at some point start endgame. But also, if this doesn't work like this, and these are the Echo of War versions, which funnily enough are lower level, we don't even know how high the toughness in story mode actually will be, so I tested everything else I had and nothing works. Well, that is true, everything I had. We have a new character, Forgotten, and with some of her questionable design and certain choices, there is one question I just have to ask. Pun fully intended. Let's see how good the Dahlia is at actually busting balls, shall we? Here we go.
Open. It all dies. So beautiful.
Yeah, I don't think this is gonna work. Toughness reduction taken when not weakness broken can also be converted to super break damage. I mean, you don't have toughness, but like, maybe? Oh! Wait! It works! Wait! We can do super break! Wait a second! Wait! Frick! You stupid machine! No more waiting, no more trying. This is functional! Well, that's pretty great. But let me shortly talk about why this exactly works. As the ability of the Dahlia states, toughness reduction can be converted into super break even if the enemy is not weakness broken. But there is no toughness to reduce for the two balls, so how does this work? Well, it doesn't matter if we reduce an enemy's toughness. What matters is the fact that as long as you attack an enemy with an element that they are weak to, your character does inflict toughness reduction. That's how it works. That is what's being converted. That's how Super Break normally works. It converts that toughness reduction. So that also means this works on toughness locked enemies, and I even tried that with an Arumaton Gatekeeper. It works. On one hand, that sounds pretty good, and it sounds like the Dahlia will solve all of our problems, but she is, in fact, not the end-all and be-all of everything. Sure, she enables certain things, but she alone cannot make them super broken. She only allows toughness reduction to become super break damage, but you still have to actually enable super break, which she only does for herself and her dance partners, only 2 out of our 4 characters, not the entire team. But still, with a new character that helps us along the way, it is time to test out endgame. And overall this works pretty alright, considering the state of the account. We managed to do half of everything. Half of MOC, half of Pure Fiction, half of Apocalyptic Shadow, including the new one. And the reason why it's only half is down to a multitude of factors. The first one being, of course, the light cone situation is what it is, and most characters just don't really have a actually good functioning light cone that does anything for a break build. But also relic luck. I have gotten incredibly unlucky with relics on this account. Like, incredibly unlucky. The best I have is like 7 relics that actually do have at least 2 stat rolls in break effect, and like 6 of them are helmets, so no, I cannot actually put them all on one character. That is just what it is, which kinda just made me build every character as best as I can, and so all of them have only about 100 to 150% break effect. That's as good as it is right now. So we just have to wait and see when this becomes better. The other problem then of course is levels, because, well, levels are important for break, and we are only level 70, so I decided to do the next equilibrium trial to increase our maximum level, and that leaves us at, well, more farming to get materials, to level up characters, level up traces, hopefully grind for more better relics, and then of course prepare to do all of Penacony as the next step on our journey. This place shouldn't be any kind of problem, but it will just refresh our little jade treasure trove, because, again, Fuke might be very important and I kind of want to pull for her, so we will have to get enough pulls for that. With that being said, that shall be it for this time. Hope you enjoyed, do the YouTube things, leave a like, leave a comment, or subscribe for more, and have a nice day, till next time.